Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
I had it muted. He can talk to you now. Tell
All right.
how y'all doing?
Oh, good, good. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Good. Give us your name and DOC number, please.
Raymond Rawlins, 343233.
All right, Mr. Rollins, my name is Pearl Wise. To my left is Mr. Roche. To my right is Mr. Freeman. We comprise your panel this afternoon. And let me explain the process here. I know you've been through this before. I'm going to read some information in the record. Afterwards, we're going to conduct an interview with you, starting with me because I was assigned your case. You do have some visitors. Tabitha Dawson, your sister, and Cassandra Pace, your sister, and they both want to speak. After we finish interviewing you and we get the comments from the ward, we're going to ask your sisters to make their statements. And then after they make your statements, you'll be given an opportunity to make a closing statement. Tell us whatever you want us to know before we render a decision. And do you understand the process?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me read the information into the record. Your name is Raymond Anthony Rawlins, DOC number 343233. You're listed as a second offender. Your charge is simple robbery, manslaughter, and armed robbery, and you are a habitual offender, habitualized on that. Your total sentence is 80 years. Your parole eligibility date is listed as 11/18 of 2019. You do not earn good time, and your full term date is April the 19th of 2073. That sounds about right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So come up for the record how long you've served on this sentence.
29 years.
Okay, and how old were you when you committed this crime?
19,
How old are you today?
49.
Okay, yeah, all righty. What was going on in your life when you committed this crime?
Well, when I committed this crime, I was in a gang that I'm no longer affiliated with and caught up doing the wrong things. I come from a good family. I just was caught up with a bad crowd at the time.
Well, thank you for your honesty. What about drug use, alcohol use? What about that?
Yes, ma'am. Alcohol did play a part in taking this crime.
You was just, go ahead.
Yeah, just alcohol. I wasn't on any kind of drugs. Alcohol took part in this crime.
Now, I do want to inform you, as a part of this process, we reach out to the law enforcement community and to your victim to get their opinion about early release. There's nothing you can do about it. I just want to state it for the record that there is opposition. They are opposed to your early release. I saw that. Tell me some things you know now that you didn't know before when you were gaining them. Well, what do you know now at 48 that you didn't know?
Well, when I was younger, dealing with the gangs, the reason I joined the gang because I didn't feel accepted by my family, and that was a lure to allure me into gang activities and the way that they was living and the way that they were treating me at the time, and that was the cause of me joining the gang. But if I didn't know it would all led to this, it would have never happened.
So what kind of programs have you taken that has changed your mindset now and help you to feel, even if nobody accepts you, you accept yourself? I mean, what programs have you taken?
Well, ENAA was a big part of my journey here, and conflicts of violence, core base. I'm in living in balance right now, and reentry. I finished reentry, and all them programs showed me that it's a better way to live and a better way to solve conflict than violence.
When he said he finished reentry, Ms. Farrell, he's talking about the 100-hour pre-release program. He's still taking reentry programming, but he did complete the 100-hour pre-release program.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you. Because you were denied back in when was that in 20,
2020.
it is in 2020, and one of the things was you had a poor institutional record, and you had the victim opposition as well as your record at the time. So what have you taken since your last hearing in 2020 over the last 2 years? What kind of programs
Well,
have
like
you?
I'm currently living in balance right now.
Right.
I've taken that. I'm also backlogged for anger management and victim awareness again.
Good. So that after the last hearing, you did try to, you got busy, huh? You got busy trying to. Okay. Well, tell me about your education. How much education do you have?
Well, I got my GED from here. I started off, wasn't doing too good in school out there. I had a 7th grade education at the time, but I got my GED in here.
Congratulations. They don't give those away. Yeah, you got your GED on May 26th of 2015. Congratulations. And you also you've had culinary arts, right? Have you did some kind of certificate in culinary arts? Tell us about that.
Well, when I came to Wade, I fell in love with baking, and they showed me how to bake. And the colonel at where the captain at the time was doing his program, and I finished the program and got my certificate in culinary arts and became one of the head bakers here at Wade.
Oh, look at you. So what's your favorite thing to bake? What's your
I
specialty?
love baking cakes. I love baking cakes and pies.
Okay. Any particular kind?
No particular kind.
Okay. And your work evaluation, I do want to say for your record, your work evaluation was good and excellent. A very good, very positive work evaluation for the work that you do in the kitchen. Look, I can't read my own notes now. Tell me what kind of groups have you been involved in? What kind of clubs have you been involved in?
Well, I've been involved with NAAA. I'm a general member of NAAA since 2002, 3, somewhere like that. I've been in JCs, I've been a helper group.
Yeah, tell me about the helpers group. What was that? What kind of things y'all do in the helpers group?
Helper group, we go around the compound and talk to other inmates about high risk activities and HIV and AIDS and sexually transmitted diseases.
Oh, good. Okay. Good. But when I look at your write-up, you had 76 write-ups in the 29 years. You was trying to run the institution when you first got there without no write-ups. Huh?
Yeah, well, I could say I made some bonehead decisions back in when I first got locked up, and I regret it to this day.
Yeah. But in 2018, what changed? When your last write-up was 2/1/18, what changed? What light bulb came on?
Just got tired of doing stupid and foolish stuff. You know, I was getting older.
It wasn't a class, or it wasn't nothing in particular that you could say that really turned the corner.
Well, church, going to church, and I heard this preacher preaching about his past aggressions and stuff he did and turned his life around, and I was like, man, I need to do the same.
Oh, good. So the power of testimony then.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Power of the testimony. Okay, good, good. And if you were successful today, tell me, where would you live and how would you support yourself?
Well, if I was successful today.
If you were successful and you get parole today, where would you live and how would you support yourself? Well,
right now my address is in Shreveport, and I have a job plan ready, and I will go to work and try to do the best that I can to support myself and become a productive member of society.
Who would you live with in Shreveport?
My uncle, Donald Pounce.
And your job is where's your job now?
The job plan that I have, I think I sent to y'all, was a lawn care service.
Okay, that's what we have. But let me tell you this, I don't know how things are gonna pan out, but I don't know if you know this, if your family has told you. People nowadays are charging $40 and $45 for a good cake or a good pie. If you get enough orders, you can do quite well, but you have to be, be consistent in the quality of your cakes. That's a skill that can really do well. But of course, the price of eggs and all that kind of stuff is going up, so that's a concern too. But that's a very remarkable skill. I just wanted to tell you that. Warren, is anything you want to tell us?
No, I just, like to point out, Ms. Wise, 72 of those write-ups he got was prior to 2008. He had 72 write-ups by 2007, so he's only had 4 write-ups since 2007. I just wanted to point that out. Most of those write-ups he got was early in his incarceration, but 2007 was his 72nd write-up, December 8th of 2007. So I think that's remarkable. He's done really well over the last several years. He's been here about 23 years. As you can tell, he has a really good attitude. He's got a good work evaluation that Colonel Ford submitted on him. He does a good job for us in the food service industry, and he's always pretty much got a smile on his face and a good attitude when I see him, Ms. Wise. He's done very well here after he got over his initial 7 or 8 years of his incarceration. After that, it's been smooth sailing for him. Church, or he said church, it was church that changed him, but whatever it was that changed him, it's done a good job, and he's kept it and he's maintained it for the last several years. So I don't have any other comments, and I'm open to any questions you may have about Raymond. He's done a good job here at this institution.
And I forgot to admit, I put in my notes that the father of your victim, Joseph Walling, he does not want you out early. He thinks that you should serve all your time. And I just want to state that for the record.
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, no question? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Mr.
Mr. Rawlins.
Yes, sir.
Rawlins, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Give me 2 good reasons why I should vote to release you early.
But that's a good question. Number one is because the change that I've made from being a 19-year-old kid to now. I understand I did wrong. I committed a crime. I'm truly sorry for the act that I committed. And I think that I could be a productive member of society now that I learned all these tools that I have, and I learned how to live according to God's will. And number 2 is to become a better man to help my family and help my children to see that I'm not a loser. I am a human being that can come out and do productive things in life.
So, in the last, how long have you been incarcerated? 30 years?
29, almost 30 years.
So how many times have you gone over in your head what you would do, the first 3 to 5 things you would do if you ever were released?
To be honest, I haven't seen it that far, because me looking at my rap sheet, and I was always thinking 2074, I'm gonna die in prison. I ain't gonna never make it out. So I never had a chance to really sit back and think about all that.
So Act 122 came along and you're eligible.
Yes, sir.
So tell me, what's the first 3 things that you would do if you were released?
The first thing I would do, I would like to go visit the first thing I like to go visit my deceased grandmother and let her know that her baby made it home. That's all she wanted. And go to church give my testimony to the younger generation, to the younger kids, and let them know that it's a better way and a better life besides the life that I lived out there.
And what's the third thing?
The third thing is just to hug my family, you know, to show them that I can be a better man.
Now, Mr. Rawlins, I'm almost sure that you were on supervision when you committed this crime. So how would you approach supervision in a different way this time?
Well, I would make sure I check in with him every day or whenever he need me to, whenever he call, or I'll make sure I'm there and I'm not in trouble and not doing wrong. And he welcome to come to the house and sit and talk if he want to talk and see that I'm working and doing the right thing.
What do you think the function of a parole officer is?
The function of a parole officer is basically to guide you to do the right thing, to make sure that you're doing the right things to stay in the provision of your parole or your probation.
Good answer. And if you are released, you should follow his guidance.
Yes, sir.
Hard guidance.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rawlins.
All right, at this time, we're going to hear from your supporters, Ms. Tabitha Dawson. Would you unmute and tell us what you want us to know? Ms. Dawson? Okay, let's go. Okay, can we go, let's go to Ms. Pace then. Ms. Pace, would you unmute and tell us, give us your name and your relationship to this case and what you want us to know?
Good morning. My name is Cassandra Pace, and I'm related to Mr. Rawlins. I'm his older sister. And I just want to first apologize for my emotion. I'm overcome right now, but I just want to thank you all first and foremost for giving him this opportunity. As he stated, he did come from a good family. He was just caught up in the wrong things. I do know that over the years, he is remorseful, and just with any thought, things probably would have gone different, but that's not here nor there. I'm more so overwhelmed because of his mentions about finding God. That in itself is a blessing. I do know that there's not a whole lot of quality of life left for him because he spent majority of his life there. But the quantity of life, I do know that he can have a good life. I do know that he desires a good life. He does have the support here to have a good life. I do think that he will do what he needs to do. I also know that he may need some help, counseling, guidance, and definitely the parole officer. But with all of that provided, I think that he will do well. Again, I apologize for my emotion.
Don't apologize, I understand. No reason to apologize. Ms. Dawson, were you able to get on? Tabitha Dawson?
I do know that she's at work right now, so that may be why she hasn't.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Ms. Dawson? All right, you was able to step away. All right.
I did. I'm sorry. I'm at work and I was in the patient's room. I'm sorry.
Okay, give us your name and your relationship to this case. You want us to know.
Tabitha Dawson, and Raymond is my brother.
What you want
My
us to
sister basically said everything that I was going to say, so I really can't do nothing but say the same thing she said. So, yeah, with me, I just lost my son in 2021 to gun violence. So I understand, I do sympathize with the family because I know that was my only child. So And I'm still having a hard time coping with that myself. So, well, my sister basically said everything I said.
Thank you for being here, and I'm sorry for your loss. Very sorry for you. Okay, all right, so Mr. Rawlins, if you have the final say now, is there anything you want us to know before we vote?
Well, yes, ma'am. I would like to say to the family of the victims that I'm sorry for the pain and anguish that I put them through for the last 29 years. You know, if I could take it all back, I would. I replay that day in my head every day that I've been locked up. And I wish I could have did something different that day. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, since your case was assigned to me, I'll vote first. I got so many notes when I was reading your stuff until I was flipping over my own notes. But Mr. Rawlins, I feel inclined to take a chance on you. You interviewed well today. You prepared well for this day. As the warden pointed out, really since 2007, you changed your behavior. And you earned your GED. You got a trade. You got really good programs. You got a trade. And like I told you, now you better find out about them cakes. You can make money just making cakes. The warden's comments, your good institutional record, your good evaluation from job. For those reasons, my Mr. Grant, the special condition is that you continue in when you enroll in AA or NA or CR, whichever one, at least 3 times a week. And I want you to enroll in general counseling and stay with the counselor as long as it's needed. And one thing about a counselor, if you don't feel comfortable talking with them, just stop going and find somebody else. Because you need a counselor that you really jive with. You understand what I'm saying? So don't think, oh, my counselor, I gotta stay here. But if you don't feel comfortable talking to them, you go in. It ain't the counselor for you. You got to, and you might have to go through a few counselors before you find one that you're comfortable with. But I do want you to enroll in general counseling. And then about 1 year after you've been out, I want you to start doing community service of 8 hours a month. And you can do that if you can show somebody else how to bake, you can just whatever, whatever, but you can do a lot in the community. Like you said, share your testimony to a lot of young guys, teach them how to bake, just whatever. But I'm gonna give you a year to get straight first and then start a community service. Be mindful of how you're gonna do it. And it's my vote, so I'm only one vote. Mr. Roche?
Mr. Rawlins, this is completely out of character for Alvin Roche. You have 50 years left on your sentence. I have a feeling that you're going to become a productive member of society. So I'm going to vote, and I will ask Ms. Wise to amend her decision to a conditional grant after completing a 9-month transitional work program. That will give you a chance to transition back. You've been incarcerated for 30 years.
That's
The
right.
transitional work program is that you'll be transferred to a site that has a work program, and then you go to work 8-10 hours a day, come back, you'll earn some money, have a little nest egg, and work back into society. So after completing that transitional work program, it's a 9-month transitional work program, and it's according to where they send you, you can make decent money. After that work program, I want you to have a curfew from 6 p.m. to, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. I want you to maintain full-time employment, and I want you to do community service as Ms. Wise said, $8 a month, a year after release. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Roche.
Thank you.
Mr. Freeman?
I concur with my colleague. Vote to grant.
So, Mr. Rawlins, you have 3 votes to grant your parole. I want you to hug your sisters and really listen to them because they brought their A game today. So blessed to have their support today. Best wishes to you. So your parole's been granted.
Okay, thank you.
I had a feeling Mr. O'Shea was going to grant. The questions he asked was unique, but I enjoyed them. Well, the 3 things you would do if you were to get free, be free, and I think it was visit his grandmother's grave. Then he said go to church and hug his family. I think I would have said go to my favorite fast food restaurant. I've asked a lot of people in the comments section what they did when they first got out, and it's always you know, going to eat or going to the bathroom, change into street clothes, and also then eat something. But you know, it has been a long time. I really like what Mr. O'Shea added as a condition too, which was first go to work release, get some money, get some acclimation, and then go out. I think that seems like a real winning setup, and I'm surprised that we don't see that more often. Really, it's you would think that should almost be part of getting out. And I don't know if pre-release if that's baked into pre-release. I don't think it is. But it was a long time ago that he did his crime, and because of Act 122, he's now eligible and he's going to get his freedom. He never thought that he would have his freedom. Thought he would be locked up for the rest of his life. What do you think? I know a lot of you feel if you do something like take a life, you should never get out. And the victim wrote a statement that they were opposed. They didn't show up. It's always different when they show up. But I was rooting for him. Love to hear your thoughts. Please do the YouTube thing. And with that, I'll let you go.